Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi shir.
Shalom and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, Brachos Daf Yud. We're on Yud Zayin Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom, at the beginning of the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Mutal lefanav in, she'eni mutal lefanav loy. The Gemara is referring back to the halacha mentioned in the Mishnah, that one whose close relative has passed away, one of the 7 closest relatives mentioned in the beginning of Parshas Emor, for instance, one's parents, children, siblings, or a spouse, where he is responsible, he is chayav b'kfurasam, to look after their burial. So therefore he's considered to be oisek b'mitzvah, he is immersed in a mitzvah, and he is patur, he's exempt from doing other mitzvahs. Now if we'll take a closer look at the lashon, at the wording in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Misha meisei mutal lefanav, the deceased, the mace, is present in front of him, then he is patur. Says the Gemara, let's make an implication here. Mutal lefanav in, v'she'ein mutal lefanav loy, only if the mace is in front of him, he is in the presence of the mace, then he's considered to be oisek mitzvah. But otherwise, if he is in a different room, then this halacha won't apply. For Amini, we have a brisa which seems to indicate otherwise, that regardless if he's in the presence of the mace or not, he's still considered to be an oinein who is patur min ha-mitzvahs. Says the brisa, Misha meisei mutal lefanav, one who's deceased is lying in front of him, oychel b'bas acher, he must have his meal in a different room. It is not proper to engage in one's own personal physical needs in the presence of a mace. It appears as though he's ignoring the mace. It is considered to be loyig l'rosh, mocking a pauper. If he has nowhere else to go, he finds a friend's house, and that's where he eats. If that is not an option, he creates a partition, a mechitza, between him and the mace, and then he eats. If he doesn't have anything with which to create a partition, he turns away his face and eats when he's not facing the mace. But he cannot recline and eat. He eats neither meat nor wine. He doesn't need to say a bracha of ha'motzi lechem ha'oretz, ve'einei mezamen. He doesn't need to make a bracha achroina on the bread. He doesn't need to bench. Ve'ein mevarchen olav, and there's no need for somebody else to be mitzi him to make the bracha on his behalf. Ve'ein mezamnen olav, he can't participate in a birchas hazimun. Upater, says the brisa, mikriyashma, he's exempt from kriyashma, umenat tefillah, umenat tefillin, umikol mitzvahs hamurais b'torah. Since he is involved in the burial preparations, he is exempt from all other mitzvahs. So, right at this point, we already see that the halacha, this exemption from other mitzvahs, applies even if he's not exactly in the presence of the mace, even if he's bevais acher, as the brisa said that he goes to a different home. So even if he's not lefanav, if he's not in the actual presence of the mace, still we see in the brisa that he's considered to be oinen and patur min ha-mitzvahs. This itself is already a contradiction to the Mishnah. But the Gemara will simply continue with the brisa, elaborate on it a bit, and then go back to the kasha. Continues the brisa. Ube Shabbos. If it is Shabbos where he's not able to be involved in the burial proceedings, he can't do anything anyways, in that case, Meisa b'oichel basar v'sheis yayin, he can recline, he can eat basar, meat, v'sheis yayin, drink wine, u'mevarech, and he needs to make a bracha rishayna, u'mezamein, he needs to make a bracha achroina, u'mevarchen alav, one may exempt him, or maybe mitzi him from with a bracha, make a bracha on his behalf, u'mezamnen alav, and he can participate in a birchas hazimun, v'chayav b'chol mitzvahs hamuros b'torah. He's obligated to perform all the mitzvahs in the Torah since it's Shabbos, and he's not actively involved in the kvura of the mace. Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, he adds one more thing. There's one more thing that will apply on Shabbos. Since he is obligated regarding these things, bracha and krishma, etc., he is also obligated in other things. What is the other thing that Reb Shimon Gamliel is referring to? What is the difference between the two views of the Tanna Kama and Reb Shimon Gamliel? What is the practical difference? Marital relations with his wife, the chiv oina. That is the difference. That depends on the opinion of the Tanna Kama and Reb Shimon Gamliel. According to the Tanna Kama, he is not chayiv b'tashmish hamita according to Shmuel Gamliel, since he's obligated in other things on Shabbos. It includes also the chiv oina and tashmish hamita. Okay, so we've concluded the brisa. Now we'll go back to the contradiction. Katani miyis. In any rate, the brisa says as follows: that even when the oinen is not in the presence of the mace, nevertheless he's pater from the mitzvahs. Katani miyis. The brisa says pater mikriya shema u'minat tefillah u'minat tefillin u'mekol mitzvahs amuros v'torah. So we see that in order for him to be pater, he's not required to be lifnei, right in front of the mace, in the presence of the mace. Even if he's not in the presence of the mace, he's in a different room or a different house, nevertheless, he assumes the same legal status as one who is in the presence of the mace. So this is a contradiction to the Mishnah, which states that only if the mace is mutal lefanav, then he's considered to be pater min ha-mitzvahs. Says the Gemara, two answers. Amar Rav Papa, tirgma amachzer panav v'oichel. We'll interpret the brisa which says that he is pater mikol mitzvahs. That's referring to the case where he simply is turning around. The brisa said before that if he needs to eat and he has nowhere to go, he can turn around and face a different direction and eat. On that case, on that scenario of a machzir panav, that is what the brisa is referring to when the brisa says that he's pater mikol mitzvahs, since technically he's still in the presence of the mace. However, if one is in a different room altogether, in a different home, he is not in the presence of the mace, he is not pater mikol mitzvahs. So Rav Papa reconciles the Mishnah with the brisa. They both hold the same thing. The ptur of an oinen is specific to a case where he is in the presence of the mace. That's teretz number one. Rav Ashi Amar, another teretz, another solution to the problem here. Kivan shemutal ol the koivroi, when the Mishnah says that the mesa is mutal lefanav, it doesn't mean literally mamish in front of him. What the Mishnah says, it's mutal lefanav, it means that it's his responsibility to look after the kvura of the mace. Rav Ashi Amar, kivan shemutal ol the koivroi, kimutal lefanav dami. It is akin, it is similar. We may use the terminology of mutal lefanav. It is in front of him, meaning, although not literally physically in front of him, but it is in his forefront of his mind. It is lefanav, it is in the front of his mind. He is focused on it, he's concentrating on it, he's preoccupied with it. So therefore, there is no stipulation that the mace needs to be physically, literally in front of him, even if he's in a different location, since he is responsible for the kvura of the mace, he is considered to be an oinen and pater min ha-mitzvahs. So there is a simple solution to this contradiction. It is not a contradiction to begin with. The Mishnah never mentioned anything about physically present in front of him. When the Mishnah said Mishnah Mesa Mutal Lefanav, it meant simply that it is in the forefront of his conscience. Shenema, where do we find the term Lefanav referring to a mental state rather than a literal state? Where do we find that when one is responsible to look after the kvura of a mace, that is considered to be that mesa is lefanav, it's in front of him, shenemar, like we find by Avraham Avinu and Sarah Imenu. The pasuk says, "Vayakum Avraham al pnei mesa." He got up from the presence of this mace, and he went to speak to the Bnei Ches to try to acquire a burial plot for Sarah Imenu. The pasuk then continues and says, "Ve'ekvar mesa lefanai." He's speaking to the Bnei Ches. He's asking to buy the plot of land of the Maras Machpelah, and he says, I need it so that I can bury Mesi Milafanai, my dead, from in front of me. Now, he's not standing, he's not in the presence of Sarah Imenu. It already said that he got up, he already departed from his mace. So why are we using the words Ve'ekron Mesi Milfanai, from in front of me? Evidently, it simply means that Kol Zman Shemutal Olav L'Koivroi, so long that he is responsible to look after the kvura of the mace, kemutal lefanav dami, is considered to be lefanav. So in summary, we have two approaches here. We have a Rav Ashi who holds that even if it's not in front of him literally, he is nevertheless considered an oinen, and all the halachas of oinen apply to him. We have Rav Papa's teretz that it is a requirement. Only if the mace is actually in his presence, then he's considered to be an oinen with regard to ptur mikol mitzvahs. Now, how do we understand the basis for this dispute, for these opinions? It's interesting that Taisus mentioned what is the reason for the exemption of an oinen. Taisus brings two reasons. Firstly, the obvious one that Rashi quotes, that once a person is involved in a mitzvah, he's oisik b'mitzvah, he is looking after the kvura of the mace. Since he is oisik b'mitzvah, he is patur min mitzvah. He's exempt from all of the mitzvahs. Taisus adds another reason in the name of the Yerushalmi, a very interesting reason, which says as follows: V'farish Yerushalmi. Lama, what is the reason for this ptur? V'ka'amar, says the Yerushalmi, this is Taisus on Yudzayin, on Mebez on the bottom, 3 lines from the bottom, Pnei kvoidei shel mace. Because of the honor, or on account of the kavod, of the honor that one must pay to the respect that one must pay to the mace, therefore he can't involve himself in other matters and other activities. It appears as though he's ignoring, neglecting the needs of the deceased. So it's an entirely different approach to the ptur of Oinin. Perhaps we can say that this is the basis for this machlekes. Rav Papa follows the second reason, that the primary reason why a Oinin is patur is because on account of the kavod of the mace. He can't demonstrate, he can't give the appearance that he is ignoring the needs of the mace. Therefore he can't involve himself in other mitzvahs. But that is strictly applicable to where the mace is literally in front of him. By involving in other activities in the presence of the mace, he's ignoring the needs of the mace. However, if Papa will be following the rationale of oisik mitzvah patur mitzvah, since he is involved, he's responsible, he is preoccupied with arranging for the burial, for the kvura, he is considered to be oisik mitzvah and patur min mitzvah, regardless of whether or not he's literally in the presence of the mace. Why would that determine the halacha of oisik mitzvah? He's engaged in preparing for the burial, whether or not he's literally in front of the mace or not. So perhaps that is the background for this machlekes. Continues the Gemara. The Mishnah, the Brisa, use the term meisai, his deceased, meaning when he has a responsibility and achrayis to be cover this mace, to look after this person's burial, then he is patur min mitzvahs. Aval meshamer loy, but if he's merely guarding the mace, he's watching the mace, we know that one is required to have shmira, so that the animals don't approach the corpse. So if one is involved with shmiras hameis, he's guarding the mace, is that not a reason to exempt him from mitzvahs? It would appear from the Mishnah, dafka only if he's looking after the burial of the mace. But if it's just guarding a stranger, not a relative, where he does not have the responsibility of burial, this halacha wouldn't apply. But we have a brisa which tells us otherwise. You've learned in a brisa, one who's involved in guarding the mace, even if it's not his personal mace, it's not his his close relative, he's simply doing a mitzvah and guarding a mace. Patur mikrishma umikol mitzvahs amoris b'Torah. So we see that even if one's merely being shomer a mace, that too is a reason to exempt him from the mitzvahs. Says the Gemara, true. Either one would be sufficient. Mishamroi ava b'sheni meisoi. If one is guarding a mace, even if it's not his personal relative, that would be considered oisik mitzvah and patur min mitzvah. And similarly, meisoi, if it is his personal relative, his personal responsibility to look after the burial, even if he's not presently watching the mace and guarding the mace. So true, it's not a contradiction. Either way, he's patur. Whether he's literally watching, guarding the mace, or if he's simply looking after the kvura of his relative. Either case, he's oisik mitzvah and patur min mitzvah. Says the Gemara further, Meisoyu mishamar in, whether he's looking after the kvura or whether he's actually guarding the mace, he's patur min mitzvah. Ava mahalach beis hakvaros loy, but one who is actually just simply walking through the cemetery beis hakvaros, that is not a reason to exempt him from mitzvahs. V'atani, we've learned in the Brisa that even if one is simply present in a beis hakvaros, he can engage in the mitzvahs. One should not walk through a cemetery with tefillin b'roshai, wearing tefillin, carrying a sefer Torah, v'koirei, and learning Torah. What's wrong with doing this? If one wears tefillin or learns Torah within close proximity of the kvarim, it is as though he is mocking a pauper, and he is mocking Hashem, his creator, meaning that since the mace can't engage in these spiritual activities, so when one does so in the presence of a mace, of a kaver, he's degrading the mace, he is mocking him, and therefore it is not something that is meant to be done. So we see here in the Brachos that one may not engage in these mitzvahs, even if he's not guarding a mace or looking after the burial of mace, only simply walking through the cemetery. Says the Gemara, Hasam, that restriction is Teichar Ba'amis. If it's within 4 amis of the kaver, then he may not do these things. Since it appears as though he's being Leig L'Rush, he is making fun of the pauper of the mace. Hasam, again, Teichar Ba'amis to the Asr. That is prohibited only if it's within Dalad Amis. Chutzlar Ba'amis Chai, but if he's outside, if he's more than 4 amis, away from the kaver, then certainly he is chayiv to do these mitzvahs. Why? Damar Mar, as we learned, mace, a deceased person, a kaver, is teifes dalad amis l'krishma, seizes 4 amis for the halachas of krishma, meaning within 4 amis of a grave is considered to be the domain of the grave. Therefore, within those 4 amis, one may not engage in the aforementioned activities. But hacha, techusal dalad amis nami pater. But if he is outside Dal Amis, he's not so close to the kaver, so in that case, the concept of a loyal rush, of mocking the pauper, will not apply. And he would be allowed to learn, and etc., daven, wear tefillin. But, hacha, in the case of one who is guarding a mace, or looking after the kvur of a mace, in this case, he is pater regardless of how close he's standing to the mace. Even if he's outside, past 4 amis, he nevertheless is pater on account of being involved in the mitzvah of kvura, the mitzvah of shmira of the mace. Continues the Gemara. Gufa, we just learned hamashamer sameis, one who is guarding a mace, afal b'she'inei mace, it's not his personal mace, it's not his relative, nevertheless, pater mekrishma umenat tefillah umenat tefillin umekol mitzvahs hamurais b'torah. Continues the Gemara. Hayu shnayim, if 2 people were engaged in shmiras hameis, Zemeshamer, v'zeh so they need to take turns. Reuven and Shimon are watching a mace. We don't need 2 people to watch the same mace. So Reuven, while he's watching the mace, Shimon will go ahead and be Mekayim his mitzvahs, recite Krishma. Then they will alternate. V'zeh meshamer. Then Shimon will assume the post of a shamer. V'zeh kaireh. Reuven will go ahead and recite Krishma. So they take turns. Ben Azai Omer hayuboim b'svina. If they were traveling in a boat, 2 people were traveling with a mace in a ship, manicha b'zavazu, then they can leave the mace simply in the corner. They can both just leave the mace alone. There's no fear of any creatures coming to attack the mace. They can go ahead and leave the mace in the corner of the ship and go to the other side of the ship and say Krishma and daven. So there seems to be a machlekes between the Tanakama, who doesn't discuss the scenario of the ship, and Ben Azai, who seems to come to teach us something regarding the ship. My Benai, what is the difference between the Tanakama and Ben Azai? Is there a dispute between them? Says the Gemara, yes. There's a difference in view regarding the concern for mice. One holds that we are concerned regarding the arrival of mice even within a ship. The Tanakama's opinion is that even in a ship there's a concern that mice will surface and attack the mace. Therefore, even in a ship they cannot just abandon the mace, the corpse, they can't just leave him in the corner. There needs to be constant shmira, constant guarding of the mace. They need to take turns. One will watch while the other one will do his mitzvahs. Umar Sabar Ben Azai holds lechashinan, there's no concern for mice on a ship. They're not to be found, they're not commonly found on a ship, and therefore there's no concern. They may leave the mace in the corner on his own without shmira, and they both can go to the other side of the ship and do their tefillah and krishma. Continues the Gemara, Tana Rabban, we're going to the Brachos. One who is traveling with bones of a mace, he should not place them in a sack. He should not place them in a sack and then put them on the donkey and ride actually on top of them, since this is disrespectful. This is a lack of respect to the mace. However, if he was concerned about Gentiles that will attack from bandits, mutter, he can do in the above mentioned aforementioned manner. He may put it on the donkey and sit on it in order to properly guard it from these elements. Continues the Brisa, just as we have dictated the halacha regarding the atzamas of a mace, so too regarding one who is transporting a Sefer Torah. More we'll try to understand what this means. What is the comparison between atzamas and a Sefer Torah? What is this referring to? The Brisa began with the halacha that one must carry the atzamas with great respect, but if it's inevitable, if he's required circumstantially to actually ride on them, to guard them, then he may do so. So when the Brisa concludes that the same halacha applies to a Sefer Torah, what does it mean? Is it referring to the Reisha at the beginning of the Brisa, which requires respect? Says the Gemara, Reisha is referring to the first part of the Brisa, that one is obligated to respect the Sefer Torah to the utmost. Pshita, that's simple. Migara Sefer Torah matzames. Why would I think that a holy Sefer Torah has any lesser status than bones of a mace? Certainly, if one must display the proper respect to atzames, of course to a Sefer Torah as well, and one may not sit on the Sefer Torah during transportation. Ella, but rather a Seifa. The Brisa is teaching us that the halacha of the Seifa mentioned in the latter part of the Brisa, that if there's a concern regarding the presence of goyim or bandits, then in that case one may actually sit on the atzamayis to guard them. So the Brisa informs us that the same din will apply to the Sefer Torah, since he is merely trying to protect the Sefer Torah properly, so it's not a display of disrespect. I actually once was on a plane and noticed somebody who was transporting a Sefer Torah, and he was holding it in his arm the entire trip, because that is the ideal, the preferred way of transporting a Sefer Torah. One is meant to hold on to it bizroyai a whole time. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rechava Amar Yehuda. One who sees the procession of a levaya, a funeral, he sees a mace, he doesn't contribute, he doesn't escort the mace, then Farshim say it means at least 4 amis. He transgresses the pasuk, one who mocks a pauper, he mocks Hashem, he degrades Hashem. He is not paying heed, he is not being attentive to the needs of the mace. But if he does escort the mace, maschar, what is his reward? On him, the pasuk says the following: Mal Hashem dal. Rashi says we read Melave Hashem, one who escorts Hashem, meaning he escorts a mace. One who escorts the mace is considered as if he escorted Hashem, as if he gave to Hashem, since he is chonin dal, he is gracious to the dull, to the pauper, which is describing the mace. So the Mepharshim say that the proper pasuk would be ugmulay yashivlay. One who is malava the mace, he will be rewarded for his activities. Continues the Gemara. Rav Chia, Rav Yonasan, havashakli v'ozves hakvaris. They're walking together. Rav Chia and Yonasan were taking a walk through a cemetery. Havakashad yatchelta Rav Yonasan. The tchelas, meaning referring to the tzitzis, which contains the blue thread, was actually dragging on the caver, on the grave. Amar le Rabbi Chia, Dalye, pick it up. Don't allow the tzitzis to come into contact with the caver. Kadesh la yamru, so that the mesim, the deceased people, shouldn't claim and say, how can you do this to us? Lamachar ba'an etzleinu. Tomorrow, meaning in the future, you're going to come join us in the heavens. Now you mock us, you're walking near us with your tzitzis, and you're displaying an act of a mitzvah, which is something we cannot perform. You are mocking us. Amar Leis, Rabbi Yonasan responds to Rav Chia, why are you so concerned with the sensitivity of the mason? Are they aware of what's going on in this world? Are they aware of the events that are taking place? People that have already passed away, they have no clue, they have no idea, they're not aware of the events that transpire in this world. So there's no concern with my tzitzis dragging onto the kvar. Amar lei, so Rav Chia responds to him, in Karisa, if you have read a pasuk once, apparently you haven't repeated it, you haven't studied it in depth to fully comprehend and understand the meaning of the pasuk. Im Shanisa, if you've read it twice, apparently Shilashta, you haven't read it a third time to really absorb the meaning of the pasuk. Im Shilashta, if you've read it 3 times, apparently it wasn't explained to you properly. That the meaning of the pasuk that you quoted, V'hameisim einam yodim uma is not referring to literally the ones that have already passed away, and the pasuk is saying that they're not aware of the events. That is not so. Meisim are indeed aware of the events that transpire in this world, and the pasuk that says Meisim einam yodim uma don't know of anything, it is referring to a totally different context. And explained as follows: that the pasuk says, the pasuk actually begins, the pasuk of V'hameisim einam yodim uma begins as follows. The beginning of that pasuk is as follows: Ke'achayim yoidim she'emusu. The pasuk says Ke'achayim yoidim she'emusu, and then proceeds V'hameisim ein yoidim uma. What is this pasuk referring to? Says Rav Chiyat of Yonasan. It's referring to Hachayim, those that are alive. Yoidim she'emusu, they're aware, they pay attention, they pay heed to the fact that they will pass away in the future. That living the life in this world is not unlimited, is not endless. It will come to an end. The ones that are alive, that are spiritually alive, that are tzaddikim, they know that they will die, and they take care. They ensure that they do not get involved with negative things, with sin, with avera. They are fully aware of what's coming after this world. Why do we call them chayim? Because they're always alive. They're so spiritual that even when they die, when they pass away, they undergo no transformation. They're a spiritual essence that they've developed throughout their lifetime, their physical lifetime in this world, continues on into the next world. There's not much of a change going on. Their chayim that began here continues on in the next world. Even when they die, they're still considered to be a continuation of the same life. Misasam nikru chayim. And these people know that they'll die. They're aware of the future. They pay attention. They take great care to conduct themselves properly. So that's the first part of the pasuk. And eventually the Gemara will say that the next part of the pasuk, V'hameisim ein yodim uma, is referring to Rishayim that are considered to be Meisim, and they don't pay attention to what's going to come next. So it's a lesson in life. It's a musar. It's a reproof. It's not referring to what you said about deceased people being aware of events in this world. It's referring to a totally different concept. Continues the Gemara. What do we find that a tzaddik is called chayim even upon his death? Shenemar ubnayo ben yayoda ish ben ishchai is the son of an alive person. Raf ba'olim, he did a lot. He accomplished a lot for Torah, for spirituality. Mekavtzel, he comes from the town of Kaptzel. Huika Shnei Moyav. He beat the two lions of Moyav. Rashi says, referring to the generations of the two Bate Migdash, Beis Hamikdash Rishon, Beis Hamikdash Sheni, which the Beis Hamikdash, it was built in the form of a lion. So the Gemara soon will explain what is the deeper meaning of the pasuk. V'hu yorad v'ikasari, he beat the lion b'seichabar in the pit v'yam hashelek on a day of snow. Explains the Gemara as follows: Ben Ishchai, he was the son of one who was alive. Says the Gemara, what do you mean he was the son of an alive person? Certainly his father was alive when he was born. Atikul alma bnei meisaninu. What does it mean that he was the son of a chai? Is everybody else a son of a dead person? What is the pasuk trying to emphasize here? Ella ben Ishchai means that he is a son of Ishchai, that he is alive. He's always alive. Shafilu b'misasoi korichai. Even after he passes away, he's considered to be alive on account that he's a tzaddik, which even b'misasim, even after they pass away, they are still considered to be alive. Raf Pa'olim Mekavtzel, why is he considered to be one who has great achievements? Shariba, he increased the kibbutz b'al Torah, he accomplished great achievements for the sake of Torah. V'hu hikash ne'ariel moyav means that he outbeat the two Ariel Moyav, the two lions of Moyav. Shaloi hiniach kamoisai. There was nobody that came close to his stature. B'loi b'migdash rishon, during the time of the first Beis Hamikdash, v'lo b'migdash sheni, nor in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash. So it means v'hu he beat the two lions of Moav, meaning there was nobody like him, neither in the generation of the first Beis Hamikdash, nor in the generation of the second Beis Hamikdash. Why is it called Ariel Moav? Since it was built by David HaMelech, who came from Rus, who was a Moabite who came from Moab. So that is what the pasuk is referring to. He descended and he beat the lion inside the pit on a snowy day. What does this mean? Some say that Tavar Gzizi de Barda. He broke through the coating of ice in order to go down and immerse himself in the mikvah to purify himself from an impurity. He was Meiser Nefesh to such great extent. In the middle of the winter, when there was ice formed on the top of the bar, on top of the mikvah, he broke through the ice and he immersed himself in freezing cold water. Some say what it means is the Tana that he studied Sifra Deirav. This is Tiras Koyanim. These are the brises that explain Sefer Vayikra. He studied the entire Sifra Deirav Yom Sitva on a short winter day. So, in summary, we find a reference to a tzaddik as being a chai, alive, even after his passing. So that is the meaning of the first part of the pasuk. Hachayim yoidim sheyamusu. These are the tzaddikim shebemisas nekurchaim. They'll always be considered to be chayim, and they pay attention to what's going to happen to them when they pass away, and they make sure to conduct themselves properly in this world. The ending of the pasuk is v'hameisim einam yoidim uhma. The people that died don't know anything. That is referring to Eilu Rishayim. The wicked people, Shebachayim Kri Mesim, even within their lifetime, they're considered to be dead. They are so immersed in physicality that their spirituality is totally covered over and subdued. They're considered to be dead, spiritually dead. Shenemar, like you find in the pasuk, the Torah describes a Rasha in his lifetime as being dead. V'ata Chalal, one who is dead. Rasha, a wicked person, see Israel. The Nasi of Yisrael is referring to Tidgio, that he was considered to be a Rasha on account of him transgressing his shvuah. So we see the term Chalal, a dead person, in relation to somebody who's alive since he is wicked. We find another source. According to the witness, on account of the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, the mace will die. The Bezdin will punish the wicked person who transgressed an Avera. The pasuk is calling a person who is still alive with the term mace. The dead person will die. Evidently, we're speaking about someone who is still alive, and we need to put him to death. Chayu, he's still alive. Why then does the pasuk say Yumas Hameis Ella Hameis Meikara? He was always dead. Since he's a wicked person, he was always spiritually dead. So, in conclusion, what Rav Chia was trying to point out to him was that this pasuk is to be studied and to be interpreted in an entirely different context, with an entirely different meaning. V'hameisim is referring to the Rishayim who don't pay attention to the fact that they will eventually depart this world and need to account for their life when they arrive in heaven. But it is not referring to the concept of whether or not the Mesim are aware of events in this world. But certainly they are aware of events in this world, and we must be careful not to insult them or to degrade them, as he instructed him to remove his tzitzis from on top of the caver. Continues the Gemara, Bnei Rav Chia, the children of Rav Chia, Nafeg l'Kriyasa, they went out to the towns, to the villages, to tend to their estates. Yakil Tomudayu, eventually they forgot their Torah, and they were in great pain on account of what happened to them. Havakametzari, they were in discomfort because they forgot their Torah. They wanted to remember the Torah. They wanted to remind themselves. So they were conversing regarding this forgetfulness that overtook them, and they asked each other, Yoda Avon Bahitzara, does our father know what's going on to us? Is he aware of our pain? So the other one responded, how could you suggest that our father knows? Our father has already passed away. It says in the Pasuk, one whose children honor him, he's not even aware of it. So certainly our father doesn't know what's going on with us. So the other one responded, how can you say he doesn't know? Haksiv doesn't say in the pasuk. The person who is nifter will have pain from his flesh, and he will mourn on account of his nefesh. And Rav Yitzchak interprets his pasuk to mean as follows. Rav Yitzchak, it's referring to the person's flesh being attacked by the worms. Kasharimula mace, the effect of the worms on the mace is severe, like kemachat b'basar chai, like a pin, a needle poking a person's flesh, a live person's flesh. So we see clearly that the pasuk is describing the pain that one who has already passed away from this world is experiencing. So we see that he is aware of events happening in this world. Amri, so he responded and said, no, there's a difference. But tzara did hu yadi. They are aware of their own tzar, of the tzar that is transpired, that the events that they're experiencing themselves. But tzar da'achvina lo yadi. But events that are taking place by others, amongst others in this world, of those events. So in conclusion, Rav Chia holds, Mesim are aware. Rav Yonason holds, no, they're not. They're only aware about tzara didhu, their own personal pain, but not events that occur with others. Says the Gemara, V'loi, is that so? V'atanya. Listen to the story. Ma'asa b'chased echad. There's a story with a devout person. Shenosan dinar la'ani be'erev Rosh Hashanah. He gave away his last coin on Erev Rosh Hashanah of a famine year, b'shnei batzoris. He gave away tzedakah. His wife wasn't too happy about it, and she teased him. So he went to sleep in the Beis HaKvaros to figure out what to do, how to gain some parnasa. He overhears a conversation taking place between two spirits. One tells a friend, "Chaverti, my friend, let's roam the world. Let's see what Hashem decides on Rosh Hashanah now. What is going to come? Let's hear from Machari Pargud, behind the curtain, from the Shechina, what tragedy will befall this world in the coming year." So her friend says, "No, I can't join you, sorry. Because I'm buried very meagerly in a mat made of reeds. I'm not properly attired. Go yourself. What you'll overhear, come back and imrali and relate to me." She went, v'shata, and she roamed, uba, v'amrla, and she returned, v'amrla chaverta, and her friend said to her, "Amrla chaverta, chaverti, my friend, ma shamat machaya pargud, what did you hear?" Amrla, she said, "Shamati, I heard, shekal zereya b'rviyur rishayna, one who plants in the first season of rain." Rashi says there are 3 stages of the rain season. One is the 17th of Cheshvan, the next one is the 23rd of Cheshvan, the third is on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So whoever plants early, Borad Malka Oisai, when the hailstorm will arrive later, his produce will have developed enough, had become stiff enough to be chopped down, knocked down by the hailstorm. So what did the chassid do? He took a cue. He delayed his planting. He planted only at the second rain season, and he wasn't affected by the hailstorm because his produce was still soft and pliable and was not destroyed by the hail. So what happened? The whole world's produce was destroyed, but not his. He was spared. The next year again, he went to sleep in the Beis HaKvaros, and again, he heard those spirits that are conversing. A friend tells her friend, and she says, let's roam the world. Let's overhear from behind the curtain, this year, what misfortune will befall the world? So she told the Chaverti, my friend, didn't I already tell you I can't join you? I can't, because I'm dressed with a mat of reeds. Go yourself, what you'll hear, come and tell me. So she did so. She went, and she roamed the bunch, she returned. And her friend says, "Okay, Chaverti, my friend, what did you hear?" So she says, this year, the plan was reversed. Shamati, I heard, one who plants late at the second rain season, a blast of dry wind will destroy his produce. So this man took you, and what he did was he outsmarted the system again. So he planted early at the first rain season, and therefore his produce was already more fully developed and wasn't affected by the blast of dry air which will come later on and will affect the whole world, which this year planted late. Since they saw that the ones who planted late last year were successful, so they followed in the following year and they planted again late. And therefore when the Shidafan arrived, Shidafan only affects very, very young produce when it's still just fresh, very young and soft. Therefore, their produce was destroyed, but his that was planted earlier was already more developed and was not affected. So what happened? The whole world's produce was destroyed, and his was spared. His wife says, she was impressed. How did you become such a successful farmer overnight? How come last year the whole world's produce was destroyed and not yours? And this year, so he told her the whole story. Continues the Gemara, Amru. A very short time passed. There was a quarrel that erupted between this man's wife, from the wife of this devout person, between the wife and the mother of that young woman. Amrullah, so the wife of the chassid wanted to insult that mother, and she says, come, I'm going to show you, Bitech, your daughter, she's buried very meagerly with a mat of reeds. Okay, continues the Gemara. The next year again, he tried his luck. He went to sleep in the Beis HaKvaros. V'shama again, those spirits, conversing with each other. Amrullah. So she told the Chaverti, my friend, let's roam the world again. Let's overhear what's planned for this year. Amra, so she said, Chaverti, my friend, Hanichani, leave me alone. The conversation that we had apparently has become known to the living. Because of that conversation that discussed the mat of reeds, apparently somebody had overheard our discussion. Apparently they know about the conversation that transpire in this world. So we see from here that they know about the events that take place in this world. Says Gemara, that is not a proof, Dilma perhaps. You know how they knew? They found out through a person that had overheard that conversation and then passed away and went up and told them. Somebody passed away and related to them the conversation that he heard in this world, but not necessarily do Mesim or Nesim aware of events. Tashma, let's bring another proof. Diziri have a mafkid zuzi gabe ushbeziche. He entrusted money by his landlady. By the time he came back from Beis Medrash, Shchiva, she passed away, and he needed his money. Azal basrola chatzamavis, he followed her to the cemetery. Amar, and he announced, Zusi Eicha, where's my money? Amar, so she responded, Zil shaklinu, go take it from mitusi bitzinora, the dash from underneath the hinge of the door, b'duch plan on this and this place. And as well, she added, please pass a message to my mother. Tell my mother that she should send me something. Tishtali, send me masrikoi, my comb, the give soy, the kuchlan, the tube of cosmetics. She should send it along bahadi planisa with this woman, the ashir lamacha, that will be arriving tomorrow in heaven. Rashi says it was an expression of mourning since she died young. In any case, it seems like she knew who was planning on coming to heaven. Al-Mayadi. Apparently they're aware. Says the Gemara, no, Dilma perhaps. Duma, there was a Malach Duma who used to bring the spirits up to heaven. Kadam Omachazlu, he announces before he brings these spirits, and this time he announced that he's bringing her, so she knew on that account, but not on her own. Tashma, let's bring another proof. Davud Shmuel, the father of Shmuel, his name was Abba. They had entrusted in his care money of Yisomim, of orphans. When he passed away, Shmuel wasn't present when he passed away, and he didn't ask him, he didn't get a chance to ask him where he had hidden the money. So the money was never returned to the Yisomim. They referred to him with a derogatory term, the son of one who consumes the money of Yisomim, since he hadn't returned the money. So he was desperate and he wanted to know where the money was. Azla Basrei, he went after his father Chatzamavis to the cemetery. Amar Lucy announced to the deceased, Beina Abba, I'm looking for Abba. Amar Lu, Abba Tuvikach, there are many Abbas, who do you want? Amar Lu, Beina Abba Bar Abba, I need Abba, the son of Abba. That was his name. Amar Lu, they responded, Abba Bar Abba Nami, Tuvikach, there are many such people with such names. Amar Lu, Beina Abba Bar Abba, I'm looking for Abba Bar Abba, Abu the Shmuel, the father of Shmuel. Hey, where is he? So now they knew exactly who he was, and they told him, Amrullah, Salalekum Wasif to the He went up to the heavenly assembly, we'll go get him for you. In the meantime, Chazil Levi saw that the Neshama of Levi was sitting outside the Mesifta. The Yosef Abroi was sitting outside the circle of Mason. Amrullah, he says, why? Why is it so? Amai Yosef Abroi, why are you sitting outside? My time Salkas, why don't you go inside? Amrullah, it's a punishment. To Amrullah, because they told me, all those years, that I had not entered the yeshiva of Rav Efes. This is a story related in the Gemara and Ksubis. So I had not entered his Beis Medrash, and I caused him agmas nefesh, I caused him pain. So on account of that, all those years, those number of years, you will have to stay outside the heavenly assembly as a punishment. In the meantime, the father of Shmuel arrives. Chazi, so Shmuel noticed his father Dava Kabachi, he was crying, and he was laughing. Amarle, my time Kabachis. Why are you crying? Amarle, it's because the La'agal Ka'asas, I know that soon you're going to pass away and come here, so I'm crying. And if so, my time Achichas, why are you laughing? The Chashivas by Halmatuva, you're held in a very high esteem in this world. Amarle, if that's so, that I'm held in such high esteem, Ichashivna, if I'm important, Nailua Levi, they should include Levi in the Mesifta de Rukiya on my merit. And they did so, Ailua Levi. Amarle, so Shmuel asked his father, Zuze de Yasmi Heicha, where is the money of the Yisraelim? Where did you hide it? Amarle, I'll tell you where it is. Shalklinu ba'amsa de Rechayad, they're sitting by the base of the grinder, and there are 3 layers of money. Iloiv tatoi dedan, the top and bottom layer are ours. Umitzi, the middle layer belongs to the Yisraelim. Amarle, he said, my time of the sachi, why did you sandwich it in this manner? Amarle, I figured, ignuvi ganvi, if the thieves will come and grab some money and run, beganvu mididan, they'll take the top layer, which is ours, and the Yisraelim's money will be safe. If the earth, the moisture in the earth will corrode the money, it will do it to our money that is lying directly on the earth's bottom layer. Mididan, achla mididan. And the money of the Yisraelim will stay safe. So that's the explanation, and that is the location. So we deduce from here, Almadiyadi, that he knew that Shmuel was arriving. So apparently the Mesim know about events. Says the Gemara, Dil Mashani Shmuel. Shmuel is different. Given the Chashav, since he's so important, Kadmir Miyomachrasi, they announce in heaven, Panu Makaim, clear the way. So that's how he knew. So in summary, are Mesim aware of events? Rav Chia holds yes, they are fully aware. One of the sons of Rav Chia held the same view. However, his brother, the other son of Rav Chia, disagreed. He held Mesim are not aware only if it is tzara de tu, their own personal pain, or if the Malach Duma comes to announce, I am bringing in Neshama, or if somebody passes away and relates to them something, or finally, if there's an announcement, clear the way for a tzaddik. Continues the Gemara of Af Reb Yonasan Hadarbe. Even Reb Yonasan retracted his position. Explains the Maharsha, Reb Yonasan was the one who held an extreme position. He held that a mace is not aware of anything except for their own personal pain. Even the Malach Duma or an announcement would not be sufficient to inform a mace of an event. And Reb Yonasan eventually retracted. The Omar of Shmuel bar Nachmani, Omar of Yonasan, Menayin le'meisim shemesaprim zemzeh. Where do we find that Mesim converse with each other? Shenemar, Vayoyimar Hashem Elov, Hashem instructed to Moshe. Zois ha'oretz asher nishbati l'Avram li'Yitzchak li'Yaakov leimar. This is the land that I had promised to the Avos. Leimar, say. Says the Gemara, my leimar, what does he mean by leimar? Say, Omar Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe. Hashem instructed Moshe, Leich emor lehem, go tell them, go inform them, L'Avram, li'Yitzchak li'Yaakov, that Shvua shenishbati lochem, the promise that I promised you, I've kept my word, I've granted Eretz Yisrael to your children. Now, if the ones that pass away don't know anything, so when Moshe Rabbeinu passes away, this was told to him right before he passed away, so when he passes away and goes and tells the Avos, they don't understand, except for their own personal pain, they don't understand. So this is a proof that they do. Elamai, says the Gemara, if you'll say the Yadi, that they do know, if so, why does he need to inform them at all? They would know on their own. Says the Gemara, yes, even though they know, still Hashem wanted them to inform them, so that they show appreciation, that they feel appreciation to Moshe on account of having troubled himself, to inform them this great news.